From the school supply list to the beauty standard list to the list of rules we're quietly throwing away. This week, it feels that we are redefining what we value and not always for the better. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of True Chats with Chen. Now, this is a show where we react to the trending things online, but not just watch them. The aim is to squeeze, if even just a drop of a lesson from it. So, if that's your vibe, if that's something that you think you like, please consider subscribing and don't forget to like this video right now. How have you been? Has this week been a good week for you? We are already almost in the middle of August. Can you believe how much the time has flown away? The year is almost over. We are more than halfway through the year. It seems like time is going by so fast, and it's even more reason to make the most of the time that we have here. I like to start with something that I have learned through my life this week. And I had something in mind, but I decided to add it in the whole video. So it's like I was there trying to figure out like what I'm going to say to you guys today. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to come on here and pretend like I learned something. I was just going to scrap the segment overall. And then it came to me like silence. Maybe that's the lesson today. Maybe the lesson is silence. And then I remembered that I actually do have something that I guess I didn't think of it as a lesson because I'm currently in the middle of it, and it has to do with silence. I am going through something in my life right now, and I'm telling you that my instinct is always to defend myself. I want to defend myself so badly, you have no idea. I want to say you're wrong. And I prayed about it. And I feel like the only answer that I keep getting is just say nothing. If you know me, that is not my character. I am always, even to a fault, on defense mode. I am someone who is usually a quiet girl. Like in spaces that I'm not, used to, I'm the quiet girl. And since of late, I've been saying to myself that when you don't tell your story, you give people room to tell it for you. And that's something that I've been holding on to for the past like probably 2 years, as I learned to, especially after I had my child, to speak up more and to say more. And now it's like, it feels like I'm regressing because I have this issue and I'm having to be quiet about it. And it doesn't feel like it aligns with what with what I'm trying to build and who I'm trying to be. But I think the lesson is that sometimes you don't have to say anything. Sometimes the best thing you could do in the situation is just to be silent. Everything doesn't need your input. Everything doesn't need your voice on it. You don't need to always say something about everything. Maybe the best thing to do is to be silent. And I know it's hard, even when you want nothing more than to just speak out and to defend yourself. Sometimes silence is the answer. For now, seeing that I'm still in the middle of it, I'm going to say I'm letting God speak for me. What life lessons have you learned this week? What is something that has stood out to you as a lesson in your life? Share your thoughts, share your lessons in the comment section below. All right, so let's get into the meats of the matters this week. And the scroll stopper was really supposed to be the life lesson for this week, because I had no intentions of talking about this. Like, I called this girl's bluff. Let's just talk about it.
I feel like y'all just be picking the darkest, ugliest black girl and giving her kudo points for being pretty. And I don't take back what I said. Like, I feel like when it comes to black girls, y'all pick the ugliest woman who is dark skinned. And then y'all just want to be like, oh, she's pretty. No, like, there's dark-skinned girls who are really pretty. And y'all gonna attack me and say I'm a bitch. I'm a fucking bitch. I'm racist, which I'm not. But, like, it's just kind of like how y'all been shoving down people's necks with Lupita. And I'm not saying she's, like, but ugly. I'm not saying that. I just feel like I hate that when it comes to black girl beauty standards, y'all always pick the struggle. Y'all always pick the struggle black girl who can't even compete when it comes to like statistics or standards to be like, that's a pretty bitch. Like, I feel like y'all give brownie points just because a bitch is dark skinned. But I've seen some really dark skinned bad bitches. Like, and I'm not trying to be funny. I'm talking about like bad bitch, dark skin. But y'all never want to give the really pretty dark skin. Y'all always pick the fucking mediocre dark skin girl, and then y'all all give her pity points. I feel like y'all be giving pity points for a bitch being dark skinned and pretty. And as a black woman, I'm really offended because, like, there's really beautiful black girls out there. No makeup, no filter, no nothing, bitch. Me, me. I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm 100% real. It's really upsetting. Y'all always just like struggle. Y'all just want struggle to relate. And some bitches are not relatable.
And here's why I had no intentions of speaking on this. I mean, it's clear already. You wanted a moment. This was not about beauty standards. I think I think people realize that bringing out rage in black women is a surefire way to get attention on media, on social media. For her to call Lupita Nyong'o the struggle black girl, and I'm really trying my best. I'm not there in my journey yet. I'm not perfect. I'm trying my best. But for you to compare yourself to Lupita Nyong'o and say that you should be the standard instead of Lupita Nyong'o, that's when I realized that you are clearly seeking a moment. You're clearly seeking a moment, and I had no intentions of giving you that moment. You don't deserve it. That was a poor excuse of content. For us to say that the beauty standard for black women is just too low is such an insane take. As a matter of fact, black women, especially dark-skinned black women, are always held at such a higher standard. We have to do so much more to be perceived as beautiful by a large portion of society. So for you to like try to bring us back to the days like where we were not at all acknowledged, is that what you want? You want black women to not be acknowledged as beautiful because of your standard, which is clearly broken. Because if you feel within your mind that you are beating Lupita Nyong'o in anything about beauty, your perception is flawed. And this is not about viewing yourself as beautiful and no. Yes, all of that is true. All of that is great. But it's like we didn't need to have this conversation. Sometimes we need to not fall for the bait as black women, especially dark-skinned women. And with the whole again with the Love Island, the whole conversation around dark-skinned women right now is very disappointing. There's a portion of it, let me say, that is very disappointing. I think what we need to do is focus on the portion that is great, that is uplifting us, that is seeing us for who we are and seeing our true beauty, and not to pay attention to people like these, because they do not deserve our attention. They don't deserve a single minute of our time. And I know it's very counterproductive for me to say that while filming this video, but let's not be enraged. Let's let her have her opinion. People do not need our help to look foolish. We don't need to point out when someone is being foolish. They do it themselves. Especially not in a case like this. There's no, and I'm speaking specifically to my dark-skinned women right now. There is no need to be offended by something like that. Since that day, I don't know if lives are something that, because I've never seen her on my page before. She's constantly on lives. She's constantly making content about this same thing. She's constantly just harping on making multiple videos about the same thing, and it's because we are under there as black women trying to defend our honor. We don't need to do that in this particular situation, especially. There is no need for us to try to defend our honor for this situation. She has a struggle music career that she's trying to get attention for. And the biggest way to get attention, the fastest way to get attention on the internet right now is to rage bait black women. And she cracked the code and she went viral. It's not good attention, but I guess any attention is good attention when you're desperate enough. Pay it no mind, dark skinned ladies. Pay it no mind. There's no need. There's no need. When we see those things, we look at our phone and we smile and we scroll. Because who are you even talking to right now? Let her sit in silence. That's what she deserves. Not a single ounce of attention, please. Please. You are not real. That's all I'll say about that. You are not real. Could never be. I think at one point she said something about Sydney Sweeney, saying that the white women are sending out Sydney Sweeney and we're sending Lupita Nyong'o to compete. Sydney Sweeney? Okay, girl. The only thing I would say is I think I have an idea of what her version of a beautiful dark-skinned woman is supposed to look like. I didn't delve into it enough to see if she ever spoke about examples of pretty dark-skinned women that she sees. And when people talk about things like this, we don't realize that it harms you too. I don't want to do this whole comparison and this beauty hierarchy type of thing, but for you to look the way that you look and to be having these kind of conversations about the women's beauty standard and who should not be propped up and who should not be given the title of beautiful is bold, is very bold, and it will not serve you well. Let's get into the talk of the timeline. Oh my days. And I might be standing alone on this one, but it's okay. I'm going to talk about it. And you know what? No, I know I'm not standing alone, but I have a few thoughts. First of all, it's back to school in Jamaica, and I know that for people abroad, the school season has already started. School term, school season, I don't know. It's already started, and I cannot help but see these conversations happening online. There are people who are talking about purchasing school supplies and sharing their children's school supplies with the class. Let's look at a few examples here.
I feel like when it comes to the school supplies, if every student in the classroom is bringing the supplies that was listed, why is it that everybody have to combine everything together and share? Then when the teacher also requests her little list of the things that she need for the whole classroom, when you was in Target buying all that stuff trying to decorate your classroom, sweetheart, you didn't stop and get you some Lysol and some hand sanitizer? My responsibility as a parent is to only take care of my child, to supply what my child needs in order for him to learn in school. All of that extra stuff, I don't care to do that, and I don't want to do that. And then let's not forget, you go spend all that money buying all that stuff that the school listed what your child needed, and a lot of that stuff they don't even be using and don't even be sending it back home.
When you're buying your kids' school supplies for this school year, remember that some of these school supplies are for the community. That means they are for the classroom. Do not write your kid's name on every freaking pencil in the pack.
How about no, we're not doing that and mind your business? Because you mean to tell me as a parent you had all summer to figure out a way to get some coins for these school supplies. You fell short, so now I got to take my hard-earned money and get school supplies for my son, and then the teacher's going to tell me, no, these school supplies are for the community, the class. No, I think not. I will be putting his name on every school supply, every pencil, okay? All right? I could see, bringing Kleenex for the class, tissues for the class, but pencils, come on. And then when you ask kids, where's their pencils? oh, the teachers don't give them out. They said I had too many. I think not. We're going to keep those at home. We'll portion them or ration them however we see fit. No, absolutely not.
Now listen, I am a brand new parent. My daughter is nowhere near school age, but there are so many things to consider here. Our society is lacking so many good values, because why is it so much of an issue to you for your child to share school supplies? The Jamaican school system, I think it's similar in that, and I had a problem with this too. I had a coworker who at one point was telling me about the things that she needs to buy for her son's school, and she said that she has to buy paper to print tests on. I don't know if this is a unique thing, but when I heard about her purchasing paper so that they can print tests for the children to do, I clutched my non existent pearls, because what do you mean? I have to purchase. What about the funding that the school get? You know what I'm saying? I understand that. But to argue about pencils? First of all, have we never been children before? Have we never ever been kids? Did you drop from the sky an adult? How many pencils did you use as a child in a given week? Because I lost one every single day. If I had a pencil for 3 days, that pencil was a superhero in its own merit, okay? I lost those things so often. I got like good quality books and they were a mess at the end of the school year. I tore the pages out. It's never that deep. It's never that deep, especially when I go online and see other creators talk about like going into Walmart and other stores that sell these things and seeing the prices of these things being 25 cents that you're arguing about. And then let's talk about even the Kleenex and Lysol. Do you think the teacher is asking you for Lysol to take home? If there are 20 children in a class, right? And each morning, every child is given a wipe to wipe off their desk, wipe down their area, and one wipe will not do it. Maybe two wipes. That's already, for a class of 20, you've already gone through a pack of Lysol in a day, and that's just morning time. That's just morning time. That's not even my real issue about it. One of the main issues that I have is the idea of it being so absurd for your child to share things with other people who might not be able to have it, or the whole selfishness that is coming through with these parents, and ultimately will show in the way that these children act. That is such a selfish mindset. I understand not being able to afford it, and I mean, come on, if you can't afford it, you buy what you can afford, and that's just it. And also, if everybody is on here talking about how they purchase like the best things for their child and then their child gets the cheap stuff, if everybody's buying the best stuff for their child, where is the cheap stuff coming from? For you to be arguing about pencils and crayons and markers and wipes and stuff like that, that's very shameless. There's nothing wrong with your children sharing. There are people who are ultimately less fortunate, and if it is that you bought nice things for your child, why is it so absurd for other people to use those nice things? Is it that, are you the type of person that only gives things away if they are of a lower quality? That's also something to look into. The spirit of generosity, caring, just general caring and kindness is lost. It seems to be lost. And things like this highlight just how lost we are as a society. For us to be arguing about sharing pencils with people who didn't buy the good quality pencils, and my child didn't use all these pencils. I have to buy 3 packs of pencils, and my child is not getting the cute pencils. And I don't know, maybe I don't know if I'll have a different idea when I actually have a child who is in school age. But I want my daughter to understand that sharing is not a burden. It's something that you are privileged to do. Even with me saying that, people might say, oh, it's a privilege. That means not everybody can do it. Like I said, if you don't have money to buy all the things that they're asking for, like the quantity of things, because I mean, ultimately, your child is using the things. So it's not like you can just not buy it. If you don't have the extra 75 cents to buy another pack of pencils, I understand that there are people in deep poverty. And if you genuinely cannot, you are one of I don't think you are one of the people who are arguing about this. You would ultimately be a person who benefits from that. Some people just really are having a hard time and they really just cannot afford to, to buy certain things. Like one of the creators said, if you want your child to write with a particular pencil, to have a particular book, you can ration those things at home. You can use them for homework. Everything doesn't have to be a status symbol, and even the school supplies is being used as a status symbol. You want your child to be seen with the better quality, the brand name crayons and the brand name what else do they use? The brand name paper clips. I don't know. The color, everything is being used as a status symbol, and I can understand it being hard to like buy a lot of stuff in bulk at the same time to send on the first day of school. I get that, but the discussion needs to be had with the people who should be funding these schools. And I guess coming on social media would be a way to highlight it, but you're not calling out the bigger issue, which is why is the school so underfunded that we need to provide even this small thing. Now, like I said, I don't know if those are the things that are on the list. I've never seen a full list, but what I know is the issue is not with the teachers. They are just an employee. When you're at your job, you do what you get paid to do and you go home. It's the same with teachers. They don't make the rules. Teachers get paid to teach your children. They are not paid enough to buy supplies for a classroom full of children. So for you to say that it's the teacher's duty to get these things is unfair to the teacher who's doing their best with these children who, let me not even get into the kids right now. It's not their responsibility. The responsibility is on the school to seek funding, the heads of the school to seek funding for the school. In Jamaica, education is free. So it is the government's responsibility to ensure that the school has the things that they need. And I'm thinking that means like everything. Not that each individual student needs, but what the school needs. If the school needs fans in the classroom, I think the responsibility is on the government to provide a safe, clean, healthy environment for children to learn in and for teachers to be able to teach in. Teach your children to share. This is a great time to teach your children to share. I don't think we understand that the things that we are showing our children now, it will reflect in our society in years to come. So when we argue about sharing with other people, about having to share supplies with other students, what does that show our children? What does that teach our children about our responsibility to the community? How should we interact with each other? What lessons are we ultimately teaching our children when we come online and argue about a 75-cent pack of pencils and say that we shouldn't have to share those with other people? When the barrier is so low for entry, such as that, and we cannot even do it. And I'm not talking about people who just cannot afford it. I'm talking about the people who they can buy the things on the list, but because it's not all going to their child, it's a problem. There is so much to be said about community responsibility, and I think that in a few years we will see the result of this. And I don't think parents even understand that when you teach your children to act this way, to only be self-centered, to only care about themselves and ensure that they have, it affects you because you're pitney, I got suck out your eye. What do I mean? Even you will not be spared. You will also feel the wrath of the child who is self-centered and self-absorbed. So let's just keep that in mind. Now, on the other hand, there is another side of this story where people are spending exorbitant amounts on back to school fits.
I would not survive this generation of the first day of school because what do you mean you wear your Chanel sneakers? What do you mean you're wearing your Chanel sneakers for the first day? I just seen Langston Hughes first day of school fits, girl. Bye. They all look like they finna go be in the section at Life tonight. Like I just can't. I can't.
I have never been the type of person to prioritize brand names. I am just concerned about looking cute. I don't care if it's from the dollar store or from whatever brand. I don't care about those things. I've never valued them. So these children might be wearing brand names, but I will have no idea. But when I look at that alongside the idea of these parents arguing about buying school supplies, it is very, very telling. So a lot of people are in the comment section saying that these children are making their own money, and what's wrong with I even let me play this one where this creator was saying that there's nothing wrong with black children having luxury.
How come when y'all see black kids with nice things, your first reaction is, but what do their grades look like? Can they read? Like, y'all sounds, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. When the little white spoiled kids come on and do their, like, super expensive, out of touch back to school hauls, y'all love that. Y'all eat that shit up. But a black kid comes to school with some Balenciagas and all of a sudden he can't read. Like, because I'm seeing this conversation about Langston Hughes High School and their back to school outfits. Baby, these kids showed up in Balenciaga, Chanel, Gucci, Louis, Prada, fit, whatever, okay? Bottega, all of it. It's like the conversation is being had. It was like they look like they going to the club. They look like they are dressing like adults, and they don't. If I saw a 30, 40-year-old dressed like that, I would be like, why are you dressing childish like that? It's giving that the adults are low-key, like a little bit insecure and jealous that they themselves cannot afford or find proper dupes or replicas of those brands to rock themselves. And then, like, there's comments on there talking about, it's the parents' fault. I blame the parents. You blame the parents for being so successful in life that they can afford the designer things for their children? It's crazy. It's really crazy to me. And I know somebody gonna get on here and tell us something, but there are those few people that prioritize designer over everything else, okay? We know that, but you can't tell me that's every single solitary person in that school. Not to mention the fact that half of it is probably from the gate, okay? It's probably a very, very top tier replica. And I'm not even mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. No tea, no shade, no tea, no shade. Y'all sound bitter, self-hating, a little racist. I'm just saying. Why do y'all hate to see black kids in luxury? That's a conversation that needs to be had, because I don't like it. Anyway.
So my question is now, are these adults, are the parents so successful that they can afford to buy designer for their children to wear to school? Because these parents are online arguing about purchasing more packs of pencils than they need to, more Kleenexes than they need to. Like, even if I saw another race of children doing it, what would come to my mind first for any race is, what do the grades look like? And I guess that's just how I was brought up. Like, you don't get to indulge in expensive things if your school life is not up to par. That's how I was raised. But you're not getting, like, the brands. In Jamaica, the brands is like, well, no, it's Kickers and it's always been Clarks. You don't get those things if your grades are not up to par. And that was not a matter of my parents not wanting me to have luxury. Why am I going to have my child sitting down in $200 jeans with an empty book and an empty head just to go to school and say that the fit is cute? All right, so the fit is cute. What next? When the standard is luxury items at school, what is the standard for everywhere else? And even if it's a dupe, why is it so important to you to have the image of being inexpensive items? Why is that your main thing? for the school year? Why are you stacking dollar bills on your hand? What is the purpose of that in school? Nobody said kids couldn't have luxury or have brand name things. I don't think that's the conversation here. Especially when people bring up like the literacy rate. For people to say, why would you bring up the grades? We are in for a rude awakening in a few years, you know. You see all these things, and this is what I'm talking about when we are so reactive instead of being proactive. When we teach our children to value these things as opposed to the real reason why school exists and why it is necessary, what do we think our future is going to look like when our world is just full of people who are just flexers and they don't have any sense? What do we think of that? For some reason, education is not as valued as it should be. I don't know what is the reason. Is it because we are taking comfort in AI and seeing that AI can probably accomplish some of the tasks that we have for us and we might not have to put in so much effort? Maybe that's the reason. But education is very much so still important, and when we have literacy rates being at an all-time low or at least being much lower than they should be, that's something that we should prioritize much more so than wearing cute clothes to the classroom. The children also have behavioral issues, and it shows because even here in my country, the rate of teachers leaving their jobs is so high. Almost nobody wants to be a teacher. People who have been in there for years leaving to go to different countries to try to see if they can just, well, for one, the salary is not what it needs to be, and for two, the behaviors of the children are not, they are not right, and then the behaviors of the parents are also horrible. So the real question is, how do parents intend to show up for their children? How will we show up for our children? Is it that we just want it to look like we're showing up for our kids? Like we love the image, we love what it looks like when your child is using a certain brand of books, a certain brand of pencil, wearing a certain brand of clothes? Or do we really think about, one, the purpose of school? And remember that school is a place where people learn to socialize too. So do we think about things like that? Like, how do these actions translate into how they socialize with each other, and then how that will look in a few years? Because the adults of today, I think we need to look more into how the things we do will affect the future generation. Because at some point, it won't even be about us anymore. Well, it will be about us because those will be the leaders of our society when we cannot manage to lead it anymore. I'll be damned if my child looks so good going to school with an empty head. If that happens, I have failed so much as a parent. If I have my child wearing all the brand name things, and even in a society like mine, let me say this, where all the schools have a uniform code. Like I don't think there's any school here where you dress up to go to school. Everybody wears a uniform, and we still find places to fit in the whole status symbol with the shoes that the child wears, the hairstyle that they have going to school, the bag that they wear. My aim as a parent is not just to ensure that my child looks the part. I know I have done a good job if my child is confident with being herself, even if it means not being like everybody else, not wearing what everybody else thinks is cool, you know? But even with all that aside, my aim as a parent is to ensure that you get a good education and you take in as much of that as possible. I also want you to be a decent human being. Like when our children see us doing certain things, it shapes who they are. The aim is never to just be good to one person. You're not one person in a society. I think we'll be in a better place when we realize that this thing called life is a group activity. We need each other. When you go into a workplace, it's not just you and your friends. When you go into a business place to conduct business, it's not about you and your friends. When you everything that you do has aspects of community. So for us to prioritize the things that we are prioritizing, especially in this school season, I think we are going to unfortunately see some very bad effects of these in the years to come. What can we do to change it? We need to prioritize community. How do we do that? These very little things. And this is not about the children dressing up. For this now, I really want to focus on like even the literacy rates. Those things become important too when we think about community. People who don't have a certain level of education are a lot less confident, and it translates in how they treat each other and themselves. So that's one. Two, the whole community supplies. Community is important. It's not about you only. And the lesson starts with things like these, you know? So just a thought to consider. If you disagree with me, please let me know down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. I know all of this just plays so much into what I want to talk about for the hard work segment. I want to know if we are really being conditioned, because this is what I feel like. I feel like we are being conditioned for a lawless, horrible world. Stay with me. I think that the things that we are seeing right now is conditioning us for a lawless world. Why do I say that? On social media, we're normalizing so many horrible personality traits and behaviors, and we're constantly seeing these things in our faces. It's taking away the sting of not being a good person. And then we're also seeing that when people do things that are not, that don't show them in the best light, most of the time or a lot of the times, there are no consequences for that. Sometimes they're even awarded for that. And the conditioning of us seeing these things over and over and over and over again. A lot of things that were taboo back in the day are just everyday things now. They're like breathing in and out and blinking your eye. And I think that when we see a lot of the things that we see on social media, I think we are going to have the same effect, where because we see them all the time, we think that it's okay and we don't see any problem also partaking in behaviors that are not the most ideal. I saw a video the other day of a little girl like traveling up an escalator to hit another person. I don't know if it was a teenager or another adult. And then when I saw the backstory of the video, it was that the little girl stole something, and apparently the person who she hit told on her, and so she was so upset that she went and like had a physical, I wouldn't say altercation, because clearly you're not going to hit a child, you know. Let me see if hopefully I can find the video and share it with you. Those things go viral all the time, and I don't know if if that child would have faced any consequences for that. It's like just seeing things like those being highlighted, and those things are going viral. It's like another child might see that and think that it's cute or funny to act this way, and then so the cycle continues. You hardly ever see things that are morally sound actually going viral on social media. Immorality is rewarded in our society. Like, before people take it in the wrong way, I'm not saying that every single thing that goes viral or sees the light of public attention is a negative thing. And even the way how we see authority these days. Children don't care about who is in the room. They act and say whatever they want. Adults, even the adults, they don't respect authority anymore. And we have normalized speaking poorly about authority figures. And this is not, I'm not talking about the moments where we call them out for doing horrible things. I'm talking about just general disrespect. We have lost faith in even authority figures like the police. Politicians no longer, I think for a long time they did not deserve our respect, and Unfortunately, it's not going in a way where they are adjusting their behaviors to be people who would just automatically command respect, not in an authoritarian way, but just who you are, just draws people to respect you. And unfortunately, us withdrawing our respect isn't doing that at all for these politicians. And I'm saying all that to say that what will that mean for the future generation? If they're seeing that bad behaviors are being rewarded, if they're seeing that they don't need to respect any authority, and the constant exposure to just horrible behaviors, horrible things, what will that mean? The literacy rates are so low, which is so strange in a time where I thought that we had access to so much more learning material. I thought that we would be like higher than before. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So the only thing that plays over in my mind is, what does that mean for the next generation? How will that look? It just seems like the world is quietly teaching us that rules don't matter. And that's not true. They actually do matter. As this idea continues to erode what we have as a society, develop the rules that we have in place, we are going to see just how much they mattered in the first place. It's scary to think of what the world will be like. It's already a strange and horrible place right now, but with the conditioning, with everything that we have going on right now, I shudder to think about what the world will look like in 20 years. I'll be 50 years old at that time. My God. God spare my sinful life. I think that it's really important that we hold on to our personal ethics and values, especially in a world where they're trying to tell us that rules are optional. Rules are not optional. They are actually essential. Yeah? I say a lot on this channel that people are allowed to do whatever they want, and I think that is true. I don't think, however, that people can evade the consequences of those actions, or should be able to evade the consequences of these actions. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. We have free will, but consequences exist, and they need to exist to hold our society together. I just believe that we really do need to hold on to our values. For me, the values are those of the Bible. I don't know what you believe in, but for whatever you believe in, find some values, learn them, stick to them, and live a good life. If more and more people do that, we can probably save a portion of the community. And if I can contribute to saving a portion of the community, of the future, I have done my job. I have done what I came here to do. It seems so much more evident that the more that we try to change things to make society better, or to make things better in general, there are many things that we have done right, but there are so many things that we have actually done so wrong. And there are consequences to these things. Let me know what you think about these things down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching episode 4 of True Chats with Chen. It was a great time. It ended on a not so happy note, but you know what? We are here to learn. Thank you so much for watching, and I will definitely see you in the next episode.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Maya her views on interracial relationships.
Oh, thank you. And first, I'm Miss Angelo.
Miss Angela.
Yes, ma'am. I'm not Maya. I'm 62 years old. I have lived so long and tried so hard that a young woman like you or any other you have no license to come up to me and call me by my first name.
Excuse me.
That's first. That's first. Also, because at the same time, I am your mother, I'm your auntie, I'm your teacher, I'm your professor. You see?
You just told her that she should call you Ms. Angelo.
Miss Angelo. Dr. Angelo,
Dr.
Professor Angelo, auntie.
Is that part of the problem in this culture that we have? There's not enough discipline. There's not enough respect.
Yes.
Pardon me? What? Hold on, Senator. Stand.
I'm from North Carolina, and I'm so happy that you went back there.
Thank you.
Because it is a peaceful place. I've been out here in California about 8 years, and there is no respect.
Well, all right, sister, I agree. I only think that The children know only what we teach them. If there is something wrong in the generations, which last two generations, which did not carry on the tradition. And I think this is true not just in the black community, this is true in the white community, in all the communities. We have not taken the children to our knees and told them the truth. Darling, here's the way it is. You live in direct relation to the poets, the heroes, and the sheroes you have. Always honor the elders. Oh, then you honor yourself. Honor women. You honor yourself. Honor men. You honor yourselves. Watch your mouth. Watch what you say to another human being. Don't be so ready to be rude. You have to teach the children that. People don't jump up out of cribs, baby cribs, and know that. So somebody has not done the right thing. That's all I'm saying. Before I answer that, let me say to Kim, I apologize for being so short. I apologize. I'm not usually so short. You just caught me off guard. I saw you about 14. I thought, ooh. Well, but I apologize.